Okay, we're going live in a moment. See if that works. Come on, man, it's supposed to be working. Maybe it'll go live exactly at the time. I hope.
It's so nerve-wracking because you feel like you're in the wrong place there. You know, you're like, oh, is it gonna happen?
Is it going to work?
It'll work.
It'll work.
It'll work. I'll call you a Beseder. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. That's Marv. Hi, Victoria and Marv. And this is Joanna, my friend.
Hi.
Oh, good morning, Joanna.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Yeah, it's afternoon here too.
It's very early for Joanna. It's 2 a.m. where she is.
Yeah.
It's 1 p.m. here in the afternoon, so we're way in a different time zone than you.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, look who's here.
Hi.
You're not in the same room, huh?
We are not in the same room. We're in the same house.
Yeah, I would expect so. Good to see
Yeah.
you.
It's good to see you. Hi, Vicky. Hi, everybody. Hi, y'all.
Marv, we just John and Pat they just went out the door. So they were here ministering here in McKinney. So
Great.
it's good to see them. It was their first trip out since COVID.
Okay, everybody. It is 9 o'clock, and it did not go on automatically. I had to figure it out, but I figured it out. And we are hosting now the celebratory launch and achievements party of Root Source. We are going to have a number of guests, including some surprise guests tonight. Right now, who you can see, just 1 second. You can see on the screen, I'm going to apologize and introduce my wife first. Here she is down in the corner, or at least on my screen. That's Deborah. Say hi, honey.
Hey. Welcome,
honey.
everybody.
You're supposed to say goodnight, Gracie, or whatever.
We're just getting started, man.
Another guest that we have here who is not, I wasn't planning on him participating, but I'm happy to see him, is Marv Wilson, Professor Marv Wilson. How are you, Marv?
I'm doing well today, thank you.
And our first three people who will be up tonight are Victoria Sarvati and Joanna Role. I guess that's her last name. I only know her as Joanna.
Yeah.
And Klaas. We'll be talking to them and about them later. We'll be joined later on by not very much later on. He's here in the waiting room, so I'm bringing him in a moment. And as soon as here he is. Hi, Bob. And his audio is coming in. Hi, Bob.
Hello.
Hey, Bob.
And
there.
and we will be also piping in some pre-recorded visits from Rivka Adler, Dr. Rivka Adler, and a very special surprise speaker at the very end. I'm mostly excited about that. So what we are going to be talking about tonight is, of course, the website that we've updated over the past few years even. We'll be talking about that as far as the nuts and bolts are concerned with Joanna and Klaas. Let me switch over to the speaker view. Why not? And after that, we'll be talking about Root Source Press with Bob Odell, one of our authors. And after that, we'll be talking about Root Source's plans to bring in a lot more teachers by the end of this year and in the future. And like I said, something at the end will be a big surprise. So we are broadcasting live now on GiveButter / Root Live 21 or something like that. And we're very happy. I'm very excited to share that we have reached our goal. Sometimes when we feel like it, we run a project, we run a program on this platform, which is very exciting to run live videos on. And we give people an opportunity to also support the mission of Root Source, which is bringing Christians and Jews together from all over the world, learning the Word of God together. And this time we set a goal for ourselves of $3,000, and we've already reached that goal before we even started the program, which is quite exciting. If anybody watching this would like to add to that, you're totally invited. But we're just a bunch of friends over here today. So it looks like I've finished my introduction. If anybody has any questions on the Zoom, then by all means, you can unmute yourself and ask them or send a chat. And if you aren't on the Zoom and you have some question, then maybe, I don't know, use telepathy and I'll be able to figure out what your question is. Maybe I have an idea. If one of my guests here, maybe Deborah, if you can open up the GiveButter live program, make sure that you don't turn on the video over there, or at least keep it silent. Then see if anybody will ask a question in the
Chat.
rolling thing on the side over there, the comments or something like that. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But
I got
anyway,
it open.
with no further ado, as people like to say, I would like to introduce my good friend, Victoria Sarvati, who is one of the principals of the Nathaniel Foundation. Where are you, Victoria?
Well, we are in McKinney, Texas, although we also have a home with Woodlands area. Hall is often there because our company is there. So we're kind of back and forth. Today I'm in McKinney, and we are excited about what Root Source is doing and how we have been able to come alongside and support this great effort, an unprecedented effort, as we see really the Bible and prophecy just breaking forth in our own time, and we're actually walking in it and being a part of it. We're able to study Torah together. Again, unprecedented breakthrough for the Orthodox community and for the Christian community. You know, the way I look at it, if you want to know more about Catholicism, you ask a Catholic. If you want to know more about Lutheranism or any other type of denomination in Christianity, or even any other religion in the world, you would ask that person who's a part of that faith. Well, we know that we are rooted and grounded in Judaism. So the best thing that we can do as Christians is to go to that source where we can get those roots and the anthropology, just the ways, the sayings, the idioms that are ancient by nature and were passed down from generation to generation to the Jewish people, but somehow has skipped over the Christian church. We weren't able to grasp that richness of the roots, and we're unable to really grasp a lot of the meaning of Scripture because we are kind of what I call Christianity is a faith that is built on stilts. And if you don't have the foundation of our Jewish roots underneath you, then you kind of are wondering, you're scratching your head wondering, well, what's this all about? What are these sacrifices all about? We just don't study those things, or the feast of the Lord. And so this really fills in a lot of blanks and answers a lot of questions that we're able to add to our faith, and just it makes it more richer. In fact, I say it explodes with revelation and understanding. And so, you know, as a foundation, we are always against the kingdom of God. And one of the places that we love to put our, I guess you would say, money where your mouth is, where we can show that we are really supporting the effort, is at Root Source. They're doing a great job of being able to connect the Jewish community with the Christian community. And I wanted to just say this scripture and listen real carefully, because I think this is something as Christians we can really grasp a hold of, and it makes a lot of sense when we put it side by side with what Root Source is doing. It comes from Romans 15, 8 through 12. And you got to realize that God started, there's nothing that happens by accident. God has got a plan and he has purposes, and he set those things in motions, and he's done the same thing for the nations who have connected to the Jewish people, to the roots of the faith. And listen to this, what starts in verse 8 in Romans 15. It says, "For I tell you that Yeshua became a servant to the circumcised." This is the Jewish people. To show God's truthfulness, what is truth, and what is the word of God. He affirmed it. He confirmed it. And it says, in order to confirm the promises that's been given to the patriarchs. He confirmed the covenant that has been given to the Jewish people through the patriarchs, through Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And then he says this, and this is really important, and in order that the Gentiles might glorify God for his mercy. So he confirmed the truth of the covenant to the Jewish people in order that even the Gentiles might glorify God, because we know Abraham is the father of nations. How is Abraham the father of nations? It was the Jewish people that was able to sow into the nations a covenant that has allowed us to come alongside. And it says, therefore, I will praise you among the Gentiles and sing to your name.
Mhm.
In the Tanakh, rejoice, O Gentiles, with his people. And that's what we're doing here today. We're rejoicing with God's chosen ones. And it says, and again, according to the Tanakh, praise the Lord, all you Gentiles, and let all the people extol him. And again, Isaiah says, the root of Jesse will come, even he who arises to rule the Gentiles. In him will the Gentiles hope. And we have a hope. And that hope has brought us and connected us to his own people. And so I'm just so thankful for how we're able to glean from one another. I know that our friends, our Orthodox friends, are listening to us to try to understand our perspective, and they're doing such a great job of coming alongside of us and supporting us. And of course, we are desperate to understand those deeper things of what the sages taught and the secrets and the mysteries that are within the Jewish faith. So I applaud what you're doing, Root Source. Thank you, Gidon, Deborah. For doing such a great job of really reaching out to us and helping us come alongside you and understand.
Well, thank you very much, Victoria. You're not only a very good friend and supporter, but it sounds like you're a quintessential student of Root Source, because you really get it, as I like to say, because I really think, not from my perspective, the Jewish people, and if I could be I'm a representative of a Jewish teacher. We're not teaching for the Gentiles. We're teaching because we love teaching Torah. But we've discovered, as you seem to have discovered, it seems very clear, that the best way to understand your relationship with God, with your relationship with Yeshua, is through the Torah and through authentic teachings
Absolutely.
of Jewish people.
Absolutely. Thank you.
And that is something that we, up until now, have never really had a chance to consider that. Most of the time we've been saying, let's learn the Torah for ourselves. Let us survive by ourselves. And anything that has to do with the other nations, if it's negative, which it has been for so many hundreds and even thousands of years, okay, so then we'll cover our heads. If we've got a metal gasket or something like that, we'll cover our heads completely and wait until the horrors pass.
Yeah.
But if it's positive, I guess we'll have to wait till the end of days. But I think that we're reaching the end of days now. I think the end of days where nation doesn't have to. Some nations still are. But in the end of days, nations will not lift up sword against the other nation.
Right.
I think that is in a very small way, Christians and Jews. We Jews have been used to Christians using the sword of Constantine, as somebody wrote a book. But nations, the Christian nations, shall not lift up sword against the nation of the Jewish people. And if we're not afraid, and if we trust that you're not going to use a sword against us, and rather you're going as Zechariah 8:23 famously says, we're going to hold on to the hem of your tzitzit, of your garment, and we want to hear what you have to say, because we know that God has been with you, and that is your mandate to teach the nations. Then that is exactly what's coming together today. That's really just beautiful. I really appreciate that, Victoria. Well, okay, so that's the way it works. That is a little taste of what the root source is. I see that my friend Elon is also coming in. I think I'm gonna give him a cameo as soon as he gets in here. Let me see if he's coming in. Elon, here you are. Hello, Elon.
Hi, how are you? How's everyone?
Hi, Elon. I invited about 3 or 4 speakers tonight. I didn't invite you to be a speaker, but you're a good friend, and you're a new, relatively new member of the Root Source board. Root Source is a 501c3 recognized tax-deductible nonprofit organization in the United States. And Elon, you are already on record. We recorded you somewhere. I don't know. We've got hundreds and thousands of videos. I'm not sure where. But would you tell us what brought you to be a friend of Root Source and a member of Root Source's board?
Well, first and foremost, yourself, of course. Gidon has become a good friend over the last, let's say, 2 years or so, since we've really been in contact, 1.5 years. We have some other activities that we are involved in together. That's really one of the driving forces is Gidon's vision and really his honesty and his altruism. Other than that, of course, I'm a very strong believer in Nevi'ei Israel, the prophets of Israel, and all that they put forth in their prophecies, and about the role of Israel vis-a-vis the nations of the world, and what that relationship will be in the future, something that's been facilitated really only in the last 73 years to be more exact, since the reestablishment, rebirth of the nation state of Israel in the land of Israel. In the exile, it was just something that was not applicable and not possible. And I see a very strong, bright future for Israel's relations, specifically with the Zionist Christian world and the evangelical communities, especially in North America. And I think in that sense, Gidon is doing, and in that capacity, Gidon is doing holy work, important work. And we see it more so every day with the lies and the slander and the libel that are put forth against Israel, nation and state. And the real way to deal with that is the type of outreach that Gidon is spearheading.
And I'm grateful to you. And I'll mention, hopefully I won't miss any names, to the other members of our board. That's Ann Stacy from Granbury, Texas, Shelley Jones from Melissa, and Revis Daggett from East Texas. And who else we got over there? Al McCarn. He's not from Texas. He's in a place like South Carolina or something like that. I'm not sure where. And yourself and my daughter Ellie. And I'm afraid that I'm missing somebody, but
Galen Walters from Houston area.
Walters, you said.
Galen.
Is Galen on the board? I'm not sure, but he's certainly a good friend. But thanks for chiming in there, Bob. We're going to get to you in a minute. First, we're going to finish off the what has been getting me to stay up late at night and wake up early in the morning for the past months and months and months, and that is our website. Let me quickly share my screen. And in a minute, Bob, I will remember to give you the opportunity to share the screen also. Come on, we got a website here. Yeah. So this is the website of Root Source. I hope everybody recognizes it. It looks a little bit like it used to look. Some things that have changed is, first of all, let me make this a little bit smaller here, is our logo and our slogan. We changed it to the 6 values that are connected. Root source is God, Jews, Christians, Torah, respect, and love. That is, God comes first, and then Jews and Christians together, studying Torah with respect and love. And as we wrote over here, Jews and Christians are studying the common roots of their faith together. It is a labor of love, a gift from Jews and Christians to Christians around the world. We today have, this is the video that we made. I'm not gonna play it now. Talking more about Root Source. Here are just a dozen of our teachers. Yeah, that looks, no, 10 of our teachers. We have more than a dozen today. And we will talk to Rivka. This is Rivka Adler. We'll talk to her later on tonight about bringing more teachers in. And we have many classes and lessons, courses that we are working on. Let me try to stop sharing for a second and invite Elon and Joanna on, not Elon, sorry, Class and Joanna onto the board. Say hi, everybody. Where's Class?
I'm here. Hello.
And there's Joanna. So let me introduce the two of you. So here's the secret. It's a well-known secret because I'm not bashful to share it. I discovered the lovely people of the Philippines many years ago. And due to the magic of the internet, I'm able to utilize the services and the talents of Filipino virtual assistants for many years. And you know, people come, people go. I was looking for an assistant about a year ago, was it, Joanna? And
Yeah.
I think I was looking for on a Facebook group or something like
Yes.
that. And Joanna came up, and ever since then, she started out by being a little bit of a web design changer. But little by little, I realized what a tremendous asset Joanna is, so I upgraded her and gave her promotion. She is the COO, the Chief Operating Officer of Root Source. She doesn't really know. She's not used to hearing that. She thought I was just a VA. But I work together with her very closely, and we're bringing in more Filipino assistants and really trying our best to move forward on many fronts at the same time. But tonight, what we're going to be talking about is the website. So Joanna started out together with me to create the requirements for the website, and then once we figured out what we were going to do, then we passed over the heavy lifting to Class, who is a professional web programmer. So we'll talk to Class in a moment, but first we're going to talk to Joanna a little bit. Hi, Joanna.
Hi.
Okay, Joanna is not as much of a public speaker as the people we've just heard and we're going to be hearing. She's used to staying behind the screen. But
Yeah.
Joanna, why don't you tell me a little bit what it's like to be working on Root Source?
Well, it is amazing. Aside from doing the website, really, I am really learning a lot of things from Gidon, which is really a bonus. So that's that. And working with Gidon is really amazing because he can really see everything in his eyes, like the little spacing, a little dot, there's a small spacing between these letters, and that is another level of, oh yes, thank you for letting me know. And that gives me more like to be more cautious the next time. So yeah, it was fun. It was amazing because I learned a lot too while doing the job. So that was, I am really grateful. It is amazing. Aside from doing the
Joanna?
yes.
Go ahead, Joanna, keep talking. Or are you done?
I'm sorry, I'm done.
Okay. I was going to say that when I first brought on Joanna, I needed to change the website from a model of people paying for the content, which is what we had for the first few years of RootSource, to turn it into a totally free site. So I managed to do something ad hoc, but we had to work on it some more. And that is what we ended up doing by bringing in my friend Klaas. Now, what happened was, I'll give a little story about how I met Klaas. I was on a group of Facebook fundraisers, resource development professionals in Israel. And we were doing a Zoom call. And I saw somebody there that what she was doing looked interesting. And her name was Wendy. And I said, let's have a Zoom, just the two of us. And we did, and we ended up being very good friends. Wendy is a Christian who lives in Haifa. And she was working for an international school. But together, I started working with her a little bit about RootSource because she just loved the idea. And when I told her that I'm looking for somebody to do some web development, then she said, you should talk to my friend Klaas. So Klaas, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
I'm gonna let you share the screen. 1 second. Make you a co-host, and tell me if you prepare to share your screen, a little bit of the underneath the background, under the hood of RootSource, what you've done for us.
Yes, so when we started, we were looking at moving all the content from the old website to the new platform. And at first we were thinking about just, copy paste, making the posts and making it work. And at some point we were like, but we want to scale this. We want to be able to make this bigger than just what we had and make it, give us the ability to make it grow fast as well. So we came up with this plan of basically variable content that is easy to maintain, and it's very quick to add new videos, new teachers, new courses, new lessons, new series. And so we came up with a website being, and let me just share a screen here. Let's see, can I share a screen already?
I believe so.
Yes, I should be able to. Let me pick the right one, this one. Okay, so if I'm not mistaken, you can now see my list of lessons. So this is one that Joanne recently added. So you can see this is Gidon called it Right Turning and Returning. Bob Odell is a teacher. It's a series, and you can all indicate that in the actual post. There's just a few fields. There's a text to put in, of course, which is the text you see, and then you can indicate which Vimeo clip goes in, which course it belongs to, and it's all interconnected. And then that basically shows up as follows. So the page loads, you see the video, you see the lesson, the title, you see the course, you can click through to the course, you can click through to the series. And basically, in the background, we just programmed, let me just drag this in if I can, just 1 second. No, I can't do that. But so basically in the background, there is code that takes all that information that you can easily put in the front, in the back end, and shows it on this page. And it sees which series it's connected to, so you can click through, and it's all interconnected and very easy to fill in and do, which makes it a lot easier to maintain, a lot easier to scale. And I think at some point we hope the teachers are able to put up their own content, and in that way the content can grow even faster. So that's what we've accomplished these last few months.
That's great. That is exactly what. 1 second. That's exactly what we're planning on doing, and I'll get to Rivka, who is leading that in a few minutes. I'd like to just say hi to Lori, who popped in. Thanks for stopping by. Lori is another good friend, also from Texas, also from Austin. Introduced to me by Bob, who I'll be introducing in a moment. She has two loves, Israel and food. I'm not sure which one is the bigger love, but I am sure. And it's just one of those wonderful relationships that we've made over the past few years of people who are really searching for friendship on the other side. And that is a perfect segue to introduce Bob Odell, my original partner in RootSource, who I met about 9 years ago already. I think we can start saying 9 years, Bob. I brought Bob on today not to talk about the history of RootSource, even though if he does talk about that, I'm not going to stop him. But the other thing that we've been focusing on a lot this year, besides the website itself, and that is RootSource Press. RootSource Press, of course, is the publishing arm of RootSource. It is the flagship publisher of books by and about Christians and Jews who are loving each other. So, Bob, please unmute yourself and tell me what's on your mind.
Oh, well, thank you, Gidon. I really appreciate being here. And you know, what we're showing today is not just the website and talking about some books, but you're also introducing the people of RootSource, and I just really love that part. So you asked me to talk about the books that we have worked on, especially the new ones. Let me go through and see if I can share my screen here. And does this pop up for everybody? You see the 5 years with Orthodox Jews there? Okay.
We see that.
Great, it's working. All right. So I'm just going to touch on some of the books real briefly. This is one that very much is near and dear to my heart. Having spent so many years with Gidon, you know, getting to know him and being introduced to all his friends, I felt like I was drinking from a fire hose in terms of the knowledge and understanding that came from connecting with Orthodox Jews. But there was something else going on. It seemed like the Spirit of God was saying, you know what, if you do this, if you connect with my people, my Orthodox Jewish people in Israel, I'm going to bless you, and I'm going to give you some answers to some things that you've been wondering about in your Christian faith, above and beyond what you're hearing from them. And I think that this is a claim, this is the claim of the book, that relationship with the Jewish people unlocks a level of understanding of God's word that goes above and beyond what we would expect, even naturally. And that this is not unique to me. This is a promise that God makes as part of Genesis 12:3. He makes this promise to everyone who is willing to respectfully and lovingly engage in study of Torah with Orthodox Jews. So that's that book. All these are available. Now, going back to the very beginning, this is Israel First. This is the book that Gidon wouldn't have happened without Gidon. It was his idea to take some of my crazy ideas and interweave them with Jewish learning and study to back in 2015 to talk about some of the hot issues of the day, the blood moons and that 7-year Shemitah cycle. And you know, we're in a few months, we'll be entering another Shemitah year. So we're
Time
6
flies
years.
when you're having fun.
Right. And the promises to Israel surrounding Genesis 12:3, and also the Jubilee. So these were concepts that we built into this book. It was so much fun. It was our first book together. You know, you really get to know somebody well when you work on a book together. And Gidon and I, we had a great learning experience. It was our first book together. And so I'm just I have such fondness for this book. Now, there's a brand new book that's coming. It's not introduced just yet, but this is a new RootSource book, the first fiction book to be produced and published by RootSource, a prize-winning story from Ken Reed. And Ken is an author. He's published, but he has connected with Gidon, and Gidon has said, you know what, this idea that you have to put storytelling in the context of Israel, this is an idea that I support, if this book is published and does well, this will help advance the work of God in bringing Christians and Jews together. You know, God has many different on-ramps for how he can touch the hearts of people around the world to be connected with Israel. And prize-winning story is coming soon. Gidon, what's the date for this?
I think it's September 1st, maybe September 31st, one of those September days.
All right, all right. So it's coming soon. So really looking forward to that. Now, going from the highest of highs to the lowest of lows, the list is without a doubt, the toughest book we ever published. Ray Montgomery and I put together our research to document the history of persecution of Jews by Christians over the last 2,000 years. This is not a fun read, but it is a reference book that we at Resource believe should be on the coffee table, or at least somewhere in the bookcase of every Christian around the world, to document the truth of what has happened in the name of Christ, even against the Jewish people, so that it will never happen again, and so that we can see the pattern of how God works and how God judges those that turn against his people. But this is over 500 pages. It has over 800 different separate events mentioned in it, full references, full source documentation. Ray Montgomery took the lead on this book, and I was very privileged to work alongside him with it. Now, there's a new book that's coming as well. There is a book which is a 2020 list of bridge builders. This is an idea that Gidon had to highlight and feature those that are working in this field that Root Source is in, the top activists in Christian Jewish engagement. So we already have this material, and Gidon is working to edit and bring this into a published form so that it can stand the test of time. Gidon, how many people are featured in this book?
70 people.
What a great number. What a great number. All right. So that's coming this year. And there's another book that is coming this year. And I'm so glad that Lori is on the screen there. Can you wave to us, Lori? So yes, so this is a book that was an idea to come from Lori Hines. The idea is to develop a companion book to the 5 Years with Orthodox Jews that will help launch book clubs, giving questions, giving discussion ideas. And this is something that Lori is pioneering, and I'm privileged to stand with her. And here's the title: What If? Connecting with the Jewish People Unlocked Understanding of God's Word, a study companion to 5 Years with Orthodox Jews. So we can't wait for this to come out later this year, and so happy for that. We can't touch on everything, but I just thought I would share my screen here and give one full view of some of the other books that we have published in the past, and some ideas for books that are coming soon. As you can see here, so those that are published are available through Root Source, as well. Most of them are on Amazon as well. Thank you.
Wow, Bob, that last visual really excited me. I said, my goodness, take a look at that. Take a look at how many books we were publishing. This is like 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 books already by the end of this year. And there might even be some more. So thanks a lot for that, Bob. Okay, 1 second. Let me stop sharing here. Yeah, so without any further ado, I'm going to introduce our next two speakers. Or first, our next speaker. She's not on because she's busy teaching online right now, but her name is Rivka Adler, Dr. Rivka Lambert Adler, and she is one of our main teachers in Root Source. She teaches women in the Bible, but she also has a doctorate in educational administration and had been a professional educational institution administrator for about 25 years. So I have decided to work together with her to bring more teachers into RootSource. That is the goal of RootSource, not only a place for a dozen teachers to throw some videos online with a few hundred or a few thousand Christians, but we want to see hundreds of thousands of Christians and dozens and hundreds of teachers, Jewish teachers, recognizing their mandate to teach Christians all around the world. So let me share my screen. 1 second. Let me get the right video. There it is. Optimize for video and share screen. 1 moment, please. Up this here. Close that and enjoy. Shalom. This is Gideon, and we're pre-recording this with my good friend Dr. Rivka Lambert Adler, who is a teacher in RootSource, who is a very good old friend, and who is also the director of faculty recruitment and development in RootSource. How are you, Rivka?
I'm great. Good to be with you.
Yofi. So today we are having the launch of our website and a few of the other things that we're sort of launching today and also launching in the near future. And I'm most excited about your project. So why don't you tell me a little bit what we're talking about over here?
Sure. Well, you should know, but I'll tell everybody else. Okay. So RootSource started with a handful of hand-picked teachers, and we see that over the years that RootSource has been in existence and been operating, we've kind of changed our model a few times to try to meet the needs of our students better. And now what we have is the experience of more and more Jews are understanding that there are people who are not Jewish who are interested in learning from Jewish teachers without a proselytizing agenda on either side. And that in fact, this mandate has been part of what God gave the Jewish people from the very beginning of the Jewish people, as we see reflected in Isaiah in chapter 2, verse 3. Well, Ki Mitzion Tetzei Torah, from out of Zion the Torah will come forth, and the word of God from Jerusalem. And so this, which has always been part of RootSource's mandate, is starting to grow, and more more Jewish teachers are comfortable with the idea that that the time has come, as it says in Zechariah chapter 8, verse 23, Zechariah, that there would come a time when people would turn to the Jews and say, let us go with you because we have heard that God is with you. And we are really doing that in the work that we're doing with RootSource. With RootSource. So what we're doing now is taking the RootSource project and expanding it to a whole lot of other relationships between teachers and students. So practically speaking, what that means is bringing on board lots and lots of new teachers who may or may not have experience teaching Christians yet. We're going to go to existing Torah teachers, people who already have experience sharing their Torah wisdom with students, and inviting them to see their prospective audience in new ways, in expansive ways. To the students, I would say that if you have ever or if you have never learned Bible, learned Torah with a Jewish teacher, that this is an opportunity for you to sample lots of different kinds of styles, because every teacher has a different approach, has a different system, a different style. And it's important for our students, for RootSource students, to try some of these new teachers and see who speaks their language, who they have chemistry with, whose teachings resonate with them, whether it's the topic or the style or the approach, whatever. And so we're going to be expanding the faculty tremendously by a factor of, I don't know, like 900% or something like that. And we are about to, and I think you'll share a little bit more about this, we're about to bring on board a very, very big name in Jewish education. And we're excited to have that teacher be part of the RootSource faculty.
And that's important because the idea of our Jewish teachers teaching Christians is innovative and really cutting edge. And some people like being cutting edge, but most people like being nice and comfortable and say, well, is anybody else doing this? I don't know. If nobody else is doing it, maybe I don't want to be the first one. So,
well, again, because this mandate that I would argue has always been part of what God expects the Jewish people to do, that is to share the wisdom of Torah with the rest of the world. That's something that it's starting to dawn on a lot of Jews, I think, also because they may be meeting either informally or through working with ReadSource, meeting enthusiastic students who really do want to hear what we have to say, what the Jewish people have to share. And I'll say further, if I may, that this is actually the exact theme of my forthcoming book, which is called Lighting Up the Nations, Stepping Up to Our Role as Or Lagoyim. Or Lagoyim, of course, means a light to the nations. It comes directly out of the Bible. And we're living in this really auspicious time where what RootSource is doing is matching biblical prophecy and matching biblical mandate to find the teachers who are willing to communicate this universal biblical wisdom with non-Jews, and to find Christians who are comfortable enough and willing to hear the Bible through a traditionally Jewish lens.
So we've already had quite the beta testing, if we can say that, for the past 8 years. We've had about a dozen teachers recording close to 1,000 lessons, and 50,000 Christians have tasted our stuff. We've had millions of website visits, but really the sky's the limits on this. And I'm sorry.
Yeah, this is your vision to expand that model dramatically. So I'm excited to help you do that.
That's right, and I couldn't think of anybody better than you to do that. And I hope that we'll be able to really reach out. We have now a short list. It's been a while since I've visited it because it's
over 100 prospective teachers that you and I have brainstormed in our networks.
Wow.
That we just we're ready to go and personally invite them.
Wow. So I don't know if all 100 of them are going to get to be on RootSource by the end of 2021. That's my high goal that I've set for ourselves for this year. But certainly if we do some amount, 10, 20, 30, I don't know what it's going to be, it's going to turn Torah teaching in general and specifically for Christians around. I think this is a very, very exciting time to be alive.
There's a tremendous amount of infrastructure that's in place and experiments and tentative steps, and now it's time to go big.
Let's go. Yofi. Thanks a lot, Rivka. You made me excited.
Great. I'm glad you're buying into your own vision.
Toda rabah. Thank you very much.
Take care.
Toda rabah, Rivka. And now, with your permission, I'm going to start figuring out what else I got to do to unshare that screen. And to share this screen, because we've got something very exciting going on. As soon as I can find it. Yes, here we go. 1 second. Shnia. This I want to save here. Hopefully this is going to work. This is our website, as you all remember. I got to find, don't see me here. Don't know why not. Show the video panel. 1 second. Here we are. Yeah, I can just show myself here. Very good. Yes, so this is the website. Now, in case anybody noticed, we have here a coming soon button. We added this button. It adds on to our about us, our vision, our mission, who we are, our plans for 2021. Learn with us. You can learn with our teachers, our blog, weekly Torah reading, and Ask the Rabbi. We've started to introduce a store with all the books that we're selling. Our free newsletter, of course, is the most important thing if somebody wants to donate. But this coming soon is the thing that I'm most excited about. So let me now unveil this coming soon here. 1 moment. This should work. Yes. This is what we've all been waiting for. Our special teacher is none other than Rabbi Adin Steinsaltz of blessed memory. Let me now share the announcement of the Root Source Rabbi Adin Steinsaltz Center content hosting agreement. This is Rabbi Adin Steinsaltz of blessed memory, passed away a year or two ago. We are excited to make an important announcement. Root Source, the leading internet platform for interested Christians to learn Jewish texts and concepts from Israeli Jews, is proud to host the English language video series of Rabbi Adin Even Yisrael Steinsaltz of blessed memory. Rabbi Steinsaltz was arguably the most important and prolific teacher of Jewish texts in our generation. He published translations and commentaries on the Bible, the Talmud, Kabbalistic works, and much more, including over 20 original titles. He was the Israel Prize Laureate for Jewish Studies and other renowned prizes. His work has been translated into Hebrew, English, Russian, French, Portuguese, Italian, Chinese, and various other languages. To promote Rabbi Adin Steinsaltz's vision and mission to spread the Torah throughout the world, the Steinsaltz Center, led by its president, Rabbi Meni Even Yisrael, has agreed to release never before publicized recorded lessons of his father, Rabbi Adin Steinsaltz, recorded in 2014 for exclusive publication on Root Source. We plan to add English subtitles to each video for easier comprehension. Root Source invites our students to watch and to listen to these rare lessons to get a glimpse of a Torah giant in our time. We further invite Jewish teachers to follow in the giant footsteps of Rabbi Adin Steinsaltz Zichrono Livracha of blessed memory, and join him in fulfilling the biblical prophecies of Isaiah, Micah, and others. And many people shall go and say, "Come, let us go up to the mount of the Lord, to the house of the God of Jacob, that he may instruct us in his ways, and that we may walk in his paths. For Torah shall come out from Zion, the word of the Lord from Jerusalem." And here's a message from Rabbi Steinsaltz Center. The Torah has always been God's instruction book for life. Let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger. Second. Yeah. The Torah has always been God's instruction book for life, but for most of history, it was a closed book, a locked book for all but a tiny fraction of mankind. Even amongst Jews, even Torah observant Jews, most have always been unable to dive into the depths of God's greatest gift, for the Torah is our life and the length of our days. Rabbi Adin Even Yisrael Steinsaltz of blessed memory discovered the key to this locked treasure and dedicated his life to allowing Jews to access their birthright. But Rabbi Steinsaltz always knew that the God of Israel is in fact the God of the entire world. And so the wisdom of the Torah of Israel is for all people as well. The prophets declared this thousands of years ago, and not one word of theirs shall be left unfulfilled. This is why Rabbi Adin Steinsaltz made efforts to have his commentaries and works translated into foreign languages, and even gave lectures in English. We at the Steinsaltz Center, dedicated to continue to Rabbi Steinsaltz's life mission, are excited to partner with Root Source to host his recorded English lessons so that they can reach more and more newer audiences. The tree of life and the well springs of Torah must increase and expand, and root, as in tree, and source, as in water, Root Source is the best place today to do that. We encourage you to engage with Rabbi Adin Steinsaltz on Root Source. To learn more about Rabbi Adin Even Yisrael Steinsaltz and his monumental works on the Bible and the entire Jewish canon, please visit www.steinsaltz-center.org. Signed, Rabbi Meni Even Yisrael, Director, the Rabbi Steinsaltz Center. The Steinsaltz legacy is Torah, Jewish knowledge for all, today, tomorrow, and always. With your permission, everyone, I will now launch the pre-recorded interview that I held with Rabbi Meni earlier this week or last week. One second. Shalom, I'm Gideon Ariel, and we're pre-recording this meeting from the offices of the Steinsaltz Center in Jerusalem. Of course, I'm from Root Source. I'm sitting here together with Rabbi Meni Even Yisrael, who is the executive director of the Steinsaltz Center. Did I get that right, Rabbi Meni?
Absolutely. That is the correct name and title. Imagine that. It's a hard work. A lot of words there.
So we're here to get together today to celebrate the launch of the cooperation between Root Source and the Steinsaltz Center. So first, why don't you tell us a little bit about the Steinsaltz Center?
Sure. The Steinsaltz Center was built originally under a different name in 1963. Actually, the Israeli...
I was also built in 1963 under a different name.
Yeah, nice. So actually, the Israeli government was actually the one to establish the original nonprofit who ran then there was the Israeli Institute of Talmudic Publication. And we
heard that on Ma'aravim Street.
Right, Ma'aravim Street, really, down the street over there. Yeah, absolutely. So for the last 60 years almost, our job is to take the ancient Jewish text.
You're looking good for us, 80-year-old.
Absolutely. Look at me. Very, very fresh. It's the Bible meat. Yeah. So we started in 1963, and the idea was that then the access to the Jewish canon, or we call the Jewish canon, which is including the Bible, the Mishnah, the Talmud, the Rambam, and the Tanya, all of them were very far away and will not be able to reach them as much as we like today, because the modern concept of reading text in your own language was gone for 1,000 years. The original text is in Aramaic or other languages, and the idea is to make it accessible, light, and readable.
But there already were translations of the Bible into English.
Right, absolutely. The difference was, I think, and the most important thing about this particular translation of the Bible, which is newer than 1963, was actually published in, I think, 2016, is a difference. The difference is that a lot of the translators have the need or wanted to have the need to speak a very high language, which made the actual text unattainable and unreachable. Archaic and very uncomfortable, and they had, a lot of them didn't have the courage to make a statement. Listen, this word doesn't make sense here. You cannot use this word, even though it was traditionally we translate in A, it doesn't make sense. My father, may rest in peace, being who he was, genius and a great scholar, had the courage and ability to bring all the traditional Jewish commentators throughout the years and make one line from them that will be this line will illuminate the text in a very modern language. So therefore, if you look in the original Hebrew translation of the Bible, even though it was written in Hebrew, it's really opening the gate to fluid reading. My father's agenda, which is obviously the organization agenda, is that you should not feel the translator or the commentator. The fluidity of the text is what we consider the most important and most lofty goal of them all. So the way we did it is basically it's all in the text. It's readable, it's accessible, and more so, I think people who read it realize it's really English. It's not religious English, it's not archaic English, it's modern English, and the vocabulary is outstanding.
So you're saying that the book of books is finally going to be a book?
Yeah, be a book. I mean, again, I if you might as well, if you read science fiction before you go to bed or a novel, might as well read the Bible. It has all these things inside. Everything you want from, if it's fighting, addiction, relationship, fighting in the family, everything you want. It's humor, a lot of humor. We know that the most humorous book, of course, is Job. I mean, because they can't understand it in any language, even with translation. Still.
Good luck with that.
Yeah. So yeah, absolutely. So read it.
So your father, Rabbi Adin Even Yisrael Steinsaltz, he originally, when was he born?
He was born in 1937. Still, when Israel still had the mandate, the English mandate, to run in this place. He was born here, literally 5 minutes away from this location. Grew up and raised all his life.
And when did he realize that what was important for him was to make the Bible and other parts of the Jewish canon available to the world?
Very early. We were debating if it was when he was 19 or early 20s, clear that he realized there's a mission here, that there's something that needs to be done about it, because the accessibility, with the respect to the greater world, our own people are forgetting how to use it. The book becomes unreachable, become old, become more archaic. And of course, when you live in Israel or live anywhere, the religious part of it might have influence on your relationship, because you're religious people and there's no separation of church and state in Israel. So you have a lot of issues that deterring people from learning it openly and take ownership of the book. When my father finished the Talmud in 2010, the translation of the Hebrew Talmud, we approached him and asked, okay, what's the next project?
When did he start that translation?
1963.
That's 50 years or
Took him
so.
almost 50 years, yeah, because again, it was, for the most part, it was one-man operation. Only later it became more of a team effort, but there was a lot of issues, and he took many other projects on. Part of the problem is that apparently everybody's ADD in the world, but he just did it in a in larger magnitude. He had operation in Russia, had operation in America, had operation in yeshivot, and he has even had the art school for a while, which is, again, it's very, very broad horizon of what the man was and what he thought about. So when he finished in 2010, actually it was beginning of 2010, I came to him and said, okay, now what? Normal people, after they finish really a life achievement, translating the Talmud is a big deal.
Now he gets to play with his grandchildren.
Right, exactly. Playing Scrabble and smoking, whatever. So I came in and asked him, so what are you going to do? So he said, suggest me some other projects. So I came up and said, with Mishnah, with Rambam, with Bible, with Tanakh. He said, okay, we'll do them all. and really, in this almost 6.5 years before he had a stroke, he really managed to accomplish all of this, which is outstanding. I mean, he gave 929 classes on Bible, some of them only in Hebrew, some of them only in English, but that's what he did, which is outstanding. He finished a commentary on the Mishnah, even though it was not published yet, but it's on process. He got 10 of his top students, to do the commentary on the Maimonides work, and he just supervised everything and whatever works, his comments and etc. So, and on top of it, he traveled around the world and etc. So that is the way it's done. And we believe that now the next stage is, of course, to take whatever information we have and disseminate it outside. Let as many people as we can to approach it, to access it, to learn from it. We estimate today, as of today, I mean, this estimate's being changed constantly, that we have over 3,000 hours of video recording Rabbi Steinberg.
English and Hebrew.
English and Hebrew. Again, obviously majority of them in Hebrew, but these quantities of English. There's something about audio files. We're talking about close to 10,000 hours of audio when the man spoke. We have thousands and thousands of articles. Again, some of them are repetitive, of course, by the nature of the beast, but they're really talking about almost about any topic. The man had, I think that, if I may, the biggest deal is that he wants the Torah, the Word of God, to be a live text. So therefore, we need to approach everything with it. It's not only the dead text of the old people. We need to live with the text, we live with the time. So, when we read the Torah portion of the week, which is about the spies and the notion of the people and the fear of the people, we have to look on it today in maybe different view. Where they were wrong, maybe they were right. I mean, it's terrifying. You come into a new place, everybody is big and huge, and you are little pathetic people sitting in the desert all this time. And don't forget, they were always slaves. The mentality of a slave is that to take a new approach, to outsource yourself, to jump out of your skin. So it's very, very hard to do. That's called slave mentality. And you want these people to conquer a land. What do we expect from them? Obviously, we hope that when God talked to you, and Moses, as his representative on earth, tell you, move, do, you will believe him. But it's very hard. As we know, the impact of magic / miracles is a very short-lived impact.
Right.
We know it from the most famous story in the Bible. God revealed himself for the first time in history to the entire nation of Jewish people. And he does it magnificently, right? The world is quiet. There's no birds. There's fireworks. There's smoke. There's lava. Whatever you want. How long will it last? Nothing. Immediately after that, they approached to idol worship. Even though the first commandment was, Don't hate this. And I think that's the big deal. The big deal is to my father insists. That's the reason the process we did to implement to get people to translate this text from my father's words in Hebrew under his supervision was to find people who speak English well and speak modern English. So young people or even older people can actually read the text, and I recommend even to go sleep with it. I mean, why this is less than any other book? To enjoy it, and if you have to go sleep, if you fall asleep, good. So you fall asleep on the Bible. I mean, it's a good thing.
Today we're launching the courses, the series of Rabbi Steinsaltz. For me, it's really amazing because I had been a student of Rabbi Steinsaltz, not a number one student, but I was very lucky to have lived in Israel when he was here, and I even worked for a short time in one of his institutions. And I had some time also personally, and also be able to sit and to listen to some of his lessons. This is the first time I understand that some of Rabbi Steinsaltz's actual lectures in English are going to be on the internet, open for everybody to see.
Right. I mean, we have some of the classes available in other topics, but yes, on Bible, this is the first time the Bible class will be available, and we actually choose the specific website, yours humbly, Root Source, just for the sake of, because it's not only approaching the Jewish people, Jewish community. It's true, I can put it in YouTube and there's an impact to a certain degree.
Sure.
But the fact that we have a designated website that can bring followers and bring people into this and approach it from a more devout perspective is something that we're really happy about. No, it's hopefully in the future we'll have it in many other places and many other locations, and then we're going to grow and make it amazing. And I think it's going to be an amazing experience together.
So much is happening in the world, of course, but this idea of Christians and Jews respectfully having coordination and cooperation is something that I'm very blessed to be able to do. Root Source has been around now for almost a decade, and the responsibility of taking Rabbi Steinsaltz's stuff and put it up on our site is really humbling, as you said, and we're looking forward to getting much more content. We'll open up some of these desk drawers and find another CD.
That's the reason they're locked. But yeah, it's our pleasure, and really we're looking forward for it in any way, shape, or form to participate, to take more of a bigger role, smaller role, but really we hope to enjoy this cooperation properly.
We're looking forward to our students interacting with us. That's very important, and we'll send them your way.
Absolutely, and we make ourselves available.
Toda rabah.
All right.
Shalom, shalom. Thank you, Rabbi Meni Eved Yisrael Steinsaltz. Before we go and complete our day with Hatikva, I would just like to take another peek at our website and show you how you can access some of Rabbi Adin Steinsaltz's lectures. And while we're doing that, show you the setup of our site in general. 1 second. Okay, here we are. If we go to the teachers list, 1 second, let me show the video panel, like making sure that I'm there somewhere. Here I am. So these are our teachers: Rabbi Steinsaltz, David Ivri, Rabbi Adler, Sandra Baras, Rivka Adler, Yuda Glick, etc. If you click on a teacher, let me open it up in a new tab. Then you get an introductory video of that teacher with some introductory text about the teacher. And here on the bottom, you will see any courses that teacher gives and any series that teacher gives. The series, of course, is a number of courses that are connected to each other. So right now we only have one course of Rabbi Steinsaltz. Let's take a look at what we've got over here. Here is the course, and there are 10 lessons in the course. This is not the lesson itself. Here on the bottom, you have these 10 lessons. 1, 2, 3, 4. Click on a lesson. Let's look at lesson 1, for example. And that is where the video shows up on top, just like in YouTube. And here on the bottom, you can make a comment. And well, we won't spend too much time on this video. But there he is.
The book of Joshua is the first book of the section of the Bible that is called the prophets.
We're going to be subtitling this these videos. Hopefully within a week or a month or two, we'll have them all done. I'd just like to point out that we also have a widget on the side that you can bless the teacher that you are watching and enjoying their content. So let me stop sharing this again and allow everybody now to say goodbye, because we're about to hear the Hatikva. It's been a pleasure hosting you on the 2021 celebratory launch of the new RootSource website and announcement of a few of our new ideas. We got this optimized. We will choose the right screen in a moment, but we will, if anybody has any questions in our studio audience or anything to say, please unmute yourself as we go into Hatikva. Toda rabah. Thank you all very much. It's been a pleasure hosting you on our launch tonight. Looking forward to seeing you on our website. If you're watching this and have not yet signed up for our newsletter, now's your chance. And toda rabah, everybody on the Zoom here. Unmute yourself like we do nowadays and say goodbye. And I'll see you in the next time. Shalom, shalom.
Thank you.
Hey.
You're welcome.
Thank you, everybody.
Toda rabah. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Amazing announcement, Gidon. Can't wait to get started.
Joanna, go to sleep.